Hello, everyone. You've tuned into the first pencil with Kathy and Mike. My name is Mike the Car Guy, for obvious reasons. And with me today, as always, again, for obvious reasons, the coolest gal that I know in the whole wide world, Kathy Cruz.
That's not true.
It is.
No,
It is. You're awesome.
no, you know much cooler people.
No. I know of maybe cooler people, but no.
What's up, dude? What's up?
Hanging in there, just weathering this SoCal heat. If you're listening to this podcast, we don't produce live, so today is the 3rd of August. We both reside in SoCal. We both have been enduring, I think, 13 or 14 days of triple-digit temperatures. The last few days have been even worse with the addition of some humidity that Mother Nature decided to add to it. Hey, the heat's not enough. Have some humidity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's bad enough. So where you live, it is triple digit. In where I live, it's it's like 92. And now that I was saying to somebody the other day, that is not a big deal in Southern California in the summer. But what is a big deal is that the humidity is there. There's no, we are just not, we're not meant for humidity here. It
We
isn't.
used to say it's a dry heat, right? People say, I don't know how you handle that heat. It's a dry heat.
I
Now we
remember
can't
the
say that
only
anymore.
time that you would ever see humidity in the summer was if there was a storm off the coast, like in Baja, and it would be 2, 3 days. But things are not like that anymore, and it's humid, and it just makes it so much worse. And I can tell you from a very personal experience of trying to take care of horses 5 hours each day of the weekend in the heat and the humidity. You really have to watch. Like, there's some new people that come out, and you tend to just do your work and you forget, and then all of a sudden, oh, I feel like barfing. I think it's better to sit down. It just creeps up on you. And it's
Yeah.
all the humidity stuff. It's not the big numbers in the heat, but you've got it, honestly, you've got it much, much worse because humidity
And
in.
that's actually kind of what I was thinking about. What even I mentioned the heat is, it's like you said, it's not something that we think about, especially if you're kind of used to being at it. You live in California. I won't say you're completely conditioned to it, but for example, I recently we have a Bronco, and it had a recall due on it. And one of the things I was thinking about at the dealership was, I was sitting in the service drive. There was a line, so where I was parked at waiting to get in, I was in the sun. I wasn't in the shade, so I had the vehicle running with the air conditioning on. But as I'm looking around, I see service advisors walking out with the customer, getting the customer out of the vehicle, taking down the VIN number, writing down the mileage. And I was thinking, are you keeping in mind that it's fucking hot outside, and you got this customer standing next to a hot vehicle in the sun while you're going through your job?
Mhm.
And sometimes we do our job so much we forget the steps and the time involved. To them, it probably didn't seem like that long, but in reality, 5 minutes can be, feel like 20 minutes, can feel like an hour if you're standing there in the hot sun. And I'm also looking like out on the lot. I see what happens on a daily basis at car dealerships all over, right? You meet and greet, you go walk the lot, you find a vehicle, you leave the customer at the vehicle, you go inside, you punch in your code, open the drawer, get the keys out,
Yeah.
and then and not to cap on car people, because I am a car person, but how many times does someone ask you a question on your way out to the customer?
Yeah.
Hey, where's the deal jacket for the Jones deal? Oh, you know what? Hold on, let me.
Yeah.
And for a brief second, you forget you got a customer out on the lot. By the time you get out there, people don't like confrontation, so they're not going to say, "Hey, man, I've been standing out here for 30 minutes. I'm kind of over this whole thing." But their body language and their buying signals start to reflect that something changed, and then pretty soon, they're like, "Hey, can I get your card? We'll probably come back this weekend or something. I just, we're out of time or whatever." And then it's easy to go, "Oh, that guy was just a jack. He's wasting my time."
Oh my God. So
But there are these things that we need to pay attention to. Wait time is an issue. We've talked about it we've been doing this show for a year and a half, right? And we've talked about people are now conditioned to immediate satisfaction. We used to call it the microwave civilization, right? A microwave generation. You can make a full meal in 3 minutes. Well, I can get a freaking $500,000 home loan approved in 30 seconds on my phone. Why does it take me 4 hours to buy a car?
Yeah.
And a lot of that wait time is, I think, something that's just not thought about. We
Yeah.
get so ingrained in doing our process. Sometimes you got to step outside of it. And I've said it a couple times on our show. I was talking to the service manager. I'm kind of lucky in the sense that I worked in dealerships for 35 years, so I don't have the normal consumer experience. When I pulled in, I did have to wait, but by the time the service advisor, who I know, got to me, obviously, A, he's got my information in the system, and B, once he made eye contact and acknowledged, I didn't want to bother him because I saw there was customers there. But if there was no one there, I normally would just walk in, throw him my key, and then walk up front and say hi, talk shit with the sales manager and just walk around and talk to people, and they handle it. And so by the time he recognized me, he gave me the little wave. I threw him my key, and we're done. I just walked away. So it's kind of different for when you think about it from a consumer standpoint. And that on Tuesday, I was actually watching the engagement and thinking to myself, gosh, I love these guys as friends. I know them personally, but I don't know that they realize how they're going about it. I mean, sitting at a desk, writing up a repair order, customer walks in. I need to get my vehicle in. Yeah, we'll be right with you. Can you wait in your car? There's a sign right there. It says, wait in your car. We'll come out to you. I'm like, every fiber of my being is like, dude. And mentally, I'm thinking he has no problem saying that. And he doesn't see the issues with saying something like that. So now she turns around, walks back out to her hot car, sits there and waits, goes out, greets her, brings her in, start doing a write-up. She's never been there before. So, oh, let me get your keys and go out and get the information I need, the VIN and the miles. So now he walks back out, manually writing down the VIN number, which, again, human error, right? A VIN number, that's 17 digits. How many times have you gotten a number off?
Mm-hmm.
Get the mileage, the license number, put a tag on there, do a quick walk around the vehicle, inspect for any damage and anything else. Meanwhile, the customer's not there, so that negates part of that whole walk around, right? Mm-hmm. Pointing out issues like tires. Oh gosh, look at those tires. Maybe time to start thinking about stuff like that. Just and then walk in and finish doing your stuff. I'm like, efficiency. So I talked to the sales manager. I go, dude, this is the second time I'm telling you this. The next time you get a trade-in that's kind of clean and recent model, before you touch it, before you crack the hood, get yourself some petty cash, drive down the street, literally 3 blocks. There's a Valvoline quick service right there. Pull in and just get a basic oil change. I promise you, when you come back to your dealership, you're going to have a refreshed outlook on how things can be.
Yeah.
And you're going to start making changes. Don't come back and like immediately blow everybody up and start screaming and yelling, because that's not going to get you positive results. But it's just look at it from a different perspective. I promise you. And finally, he did.
Oh.
Yesterday, we talked yesterday about some other things, but after I spoke with you, he called me. He goes, I hate you. And I go, well, he goes, I effing hate you. That was mind blowing. I go, you see what I'm saying? He goes, dude. And he went through all the steps of it, just like the first time I had gone there. And I shared it with you, how nice and refreshing of an experience it is. You pull in, they don't touch, they scan, everything's touchless. They talk to you as they're going through it. You hear the people calling out the air pressure, the this, they recommend this. They bring you over the air cleaner. This is what we're looking at. They pull a brand new one. This is what it should look like. This is what it looks like. I mean, it's all right there. It's all in front of you. You punch out. He sends you a link to your phone. You pay it on. Done. Wow. He goes 20 minutes. And then he wrapped up. He goes, I got to get back. But he goes, it's like a Geico commercial when they used to say, 15 minutes can save you 15%. Mm-hmm. He goes, that 20 minutes experience is going to save everything at the deal. Because now I know. He goes, when you said that the first time, I was like, shut up. You're just being an idiot. This is how dealerships work. You worked here. You know what it's like. This is what people expect. This is how, our customers, we got people, lined up out the driveway. So obviously we're not failing. But in that doesn't mean you can't do something better. You should
Yeah.
never accept your performance as this is as good as it gets.
No. Yeah, don't let the fact that there's a line of customers tell you that everything you're doing is right, because they need their car fixed and they need to be there. It's a lot of them don't choose to be there.
Right.
They come because warranty work, for instance, right? But
And anymore, the critical difference is dealerships that are focused on their fixed ops understand that people go to a dealership for work they have to have done at a dealership, not necessarily maintenance that they can do anywhere else.
right.
That's the business you should focus on,
Yes.
because that's your higher profit margin stuff. That's your
Okay.
easier in and out. And that's how you build that relationship. So if you're, acknowledging them and getting them into the system quickly and freshening up your process, you really don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to smooth out some edges. That's all.
Yeah. And so who was this? The service manager that you told to do?
Service manager, yes.
Service manager. So he did do it. That's amazing that he did it. I'm very
It was
cool.
it was his car. He said, I'm
Okay.
not going to use a used car, but
Uh-huh.
I thought, all right, he originally was going to say something snarky, call and say, yeah, it's not that big a deal,
Yeah.
because what's everybody's first, thought when you criticize something, even if it's constructive and done in a pleasant way. The first impulse is to defend. Are you
Yeah.
kidding? These guys are great. Their efficiency numbers are off the chart. This, and this. Just defend, 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 defend. We don't have any issues. So he was hoping to call me and go, "F you, dude. I went through your thing, and it's not that big a deal." But he was like completely blown away. And sometimes you're so far in the forest you can't see the trees.
Yeah.
You know, you're ingrained doing it all day, every day. You don't see how bad habits creep in. They're there, but you just don't visually see them.
Yeah.
So sometimes stepping out and coming at it from a different perspective, you're like, oh yeah, this guy over here, hey Joe, we need to look at some of these things that could help you increase your efficiency. Write up more repair orders in the course of a day, get this work closed out faster, help your own paycheck. I mean, there's an underlying benefit to you closing more ROs that hits your paycheck.
Yeah. 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 That
So it was interesting.
my dear departed husband would always say there are three important things about the car business: get the money, and get the money. that's what they do at the place where you went for the oil change. They get the money. They have a system. They've trained everyone in it, and they all know their part in it, and in and out, and you're efficient, and the customer leaves going, wow, and you just get the money quicker, get more business quicker. So
And that's another thing he said it was really insane that everyone had this like almost over the top positive attitude. He goes, everyone has bought into that Kool-Aid. And I can't speak for all valve and quick services across the nation, but the one I go to, and now another one in Riverside, have similar qualities, that they're pleasant, they're responsive, they're happy that you're there, they're sharing with you things that could benefit you. Obviously, they're in business, that pulling in, they're going to try to upsell you. It's a standard fact. There's no shame in that. There's no reason they should be embarrassed. And as long as they're justifying it with something, it's not empty. It's value. Here's your air cleaner.
yes, they need it.
Here's the clean one.
Yep.
See the difference?
Yeah. It's
internal cabin air filters. This is the air you breathe, sir.
Yeah.
And your family, your children breathe through this. How would you like to let them breathe through this clean one? You can see it's in front of you. There's no question the value. So upselling, I'm sure their percentages are off the chart.
Uh-huh. And it's things they need. It's not things they don't need. You're reminding me, this week I had to get the car service because the air conditioning wasn't blowing. I'm like, what's that? And I'm a good service person. I bring it in. I tell them to check the fluids. I tell them to do all the things. And oh my God, I found a great new technician, and my sister found him actually, but he called and said, air conditioning fluid. Is that what it's called? Air conditioning fluid? Is that what it's called, or coolant or whatever? He
They
said
used to
it's
call it Freon, but now it's
okay.
called
So
Carbon
yeah,
34 or something like
well,
that.
whatever it was supposed to be like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something like it needs to be at level 3, 4, or something like that, right? He goes, it's at 0.01. And that tells me that every single time I've had the car serviced, and a few people have serviced it, it hasn't been just one company, one person, but I used to have a mobile mechanic that would come to the house. There's a tire place that I go to. They just recently changed the oil, and I told them check all the fluids. No one's done anything in the whole time in all of this. They haven't listened to me. And that's money. That's like, I tell you, I want that. And you can charge me for filling for the price of the Freon or whatever it is, and the labor for it, because I'm asking you to do it. And these people have all missed it, but this guy's friggin' great. Yeah, he's awesome. His name's Oscar. He's in Placentia.
And
So
that's the thing. He convinced you to spend more money and you're saying great things about him,
yeah,
right?
oh my gosh, he's so amazing. He knows everything. I like people who know their shit. Okay. And I have such respect for a guy that not only knows it, but he's genuinely curious about fixing it. And that's what he did. My sister, she had taken her car to a couple people. She had motor mount issues, but they weren't sure, blah, blah, blah. 3 separate people went to him. He figured it out and fixed it. And he's just an amazing dude. So that's, yeah, I think there's a
You can
very good
upsell
there.
with value.
Yes.
In automotive, there's probably 8 or 9 different companies offering, a whole suite of service lane tools.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the most effective of those is the ability to text video and photos to
Yes.
customers to show them, the multi-point inspection. There's a company, Update Promise. I know them really, really well. There's a lot of companies doing it, but I think if I was a service manager right now, I would just be signing on with them. Their video platform is amazing. And when you send a customer, just like when you're in front of them, you send a customer, hey folks, these are your brake pads. You can see that this is kind of narrow, but just for example, let me show you the new brake pad. See how thick it is?
Yeah.
This is time to get these, done. We can do this today and still keep within your promised time of delivery at 5 o'clock if you let
Awesome.
us know, right? I mean, there's just
Awesome.
all that validation rather than calling a customer. Hey, I just wanted to let you know your brake pads are at 15%. It's time to think about those. The customer doesn't check their voicemails till later in the afternoon. Then they call back. The service advisor is away from his desk. He leaves a voicemail.
Yeah.
Then he shows up. Hey, did you get my brakes done? Oh, I didn't get your message until after 4. We can keep it overnight and get it now.
Yeah.
I'll just get it done on the way home, or take it to Walmart tomorrow or something. It's just so many opportunities for miscommunication. But texting, everyone is
Sure.
looking at their phone.
Yeah.
Everyone. They could be in a conference meeting at their business. Their phone goes off. They'll sneak a look at it. Look down. Oh yeah, get those brakes done. Let's do it,
Mhm.
and not miss a beat of whatever they're doing. At the grocery store, wherever they're at. Everyone checks their phone for text. No one listens to a voicemail anymore.
I know it's disturbing, but mm, uh, yeah, I agree with you about the texting and the opportunity there. And when you are able to go, okay, here's the brake pad here that you have, here's the new one, here's the difference. You don't have to do anything else. There's no selling required. It's just here it is, and
Right.
you've built trust because you've shown them what
Now
it.
it's not take my word for it. It's here it is. What do you want to do? The
Yeah,
decision's yours.
yeah. I know it seems so easy, but and believe me, running a service department, especially in a big dealership, I used to say that, like, I worked at a big ass Ford store, and our service manager is named Ray. And I'm like, dude, you have the hardest job, the hardest job. And because it's just a never ending stream of complaints and people upset and all of that. But so believe me, I know what it takes to
Yeah,
run it.
when you buy a car, you're happy. If that car
Yeah.
ends up having any issues, you're not happy.
No. Yeah, selling a car, you might there's little blips and things, and people don't, do what they're supposed to, or whatever the case, and there might be, but at the end of the day, they're all happy because they're driving away with a car. But then comes service, and people are typically not, they know they have to spend money, and they have to live without their car, and it's not easy. So it's your job to make it as easy on them as possible. But doing that repetitively all day long it's a hard job, but it can be done, and it can be done where you feel like you're doing something good for the customer and the customer feels the same. So it's,
And
yeah.
as I was talking to the service manager yesterday, I said, now think about this. We always talk about just casually about the things you and I talk about, social selling, right?
Mhm.
And it's always the question, well, how do service advisors participate in social selling? That's for the sales department up front selling cars. And I was like, see, when she showed you those two filters, think about one of your service advisors just sharing a video. Like, find the ugliest filter, just make it a point amongst your service advisors. Guys, bring me the most clogged up, ugliest filter in the next week, and let's do a video on it, because you're just sharing information at that point.
Mhm.
Hey folks, just wanted to take a moment from ABC Motors. This is the filter of the week. Look at this. It's got leaves and dead mice and all kinds of crap clogging it up. How well do you think your engine's going to breathe trying to pull air through this? This is the new one. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These are important. Talk about full mileage. Gas is, going back, creeping back up again. One of the ways to get great mileage on your vehicle is make sure it can breathe. There's just, and he's like, oh yeah, but who has time for that? I go, well, that's a whole nother
Well, if you
conversation. So
think you don't have time, then you definitely don't have time. I know. I don't know. I wish things would change, but
I always end up coming up with all these ideas, and then I think, man, I should get back into a dealership.
yeah.
Talking about social selling, even though it's kind of in a different format, you have a world of expertise with the horse rescue, Hanley Horse Rescue. We've been talking about some of the changes that you've come through the last few years as social selling has, because it is social selling. You are selling, a fundraiser to raise money to get horse hay for these horses. So it's selling, it's social selling, and those tips, techniques, and tricks can be applied to any product. So what kind of changes have you seen?
Well, this is August, so it's our fundraiser Facebook. It's a hay fundraiser that I run typically on Facebook, but also on Instagram, and then via our email list, which is this is the time it really counts. Like you've heard me say that two things I focus on is grow the email list and get people to sponsor a horse. Sponsoring a horse, you can do it for $10 a month or more, and that provides us having it, because it's a month.
Ongoing.
We know the budget we have each month. It helps just stabilize things, so that we know, what we can do and what we can't do. So, but we do 3 fundraisers, August, and then I'll do one in December, and then one in April every year. So when I first started doing it, it was just, I would put up a post. I didn't know what I was doing because I'm not from the nonprofit world. I'm from the for-profit world, but it's very similar in the fact that you're still trying to urge people to do something, take an action. So I put something together years ago, and I just said, let me see, what will happen. And I just put a post on Facebook. This is like probably 2013, 14, something like that. And back then you could put a post up and people would see it,
I
and
would see it.
they would see it and they would act on it. And so that worked. We got the fundraiser, we hit the goal really quickly, and it just blew me away. So I just kept doing the same kind of thing. But what's happened now is I still put the post up and we still do Instagram, but very few people will see the post. And so I have to spend money to promote it, which I'm okay with. Before we spent money, my money, just the rescue didn't, to build the audience up on Facebook. Because back in those days, they'd say, "Oh, get people to like your page, and then they'll see your content," and it was true, but it's migrated away from that. And now we have 80 some thousand people that like our page, but very few people see the content. It does a good job reaching some, but not like it did. And so I need to spend to get people to see the post. So, but Facebook ads have changed immensely. They've changed quite a few times completely. So now it's when you do your targeting, I used to target people that like our page and their friends, very social, and it usually worked really well. And I usually focused just on the places where I looked at insights and said at the data, Facebook insights, and to look at the states where most of our engagement is from. And there's a handful, maybe a dozen states. And then I would try another one just to California only. So, and it would always get, pretty well, exposure. So, but now no targeting. You can target people who like your page, but your only choice is to people that like your page and the people that are like them or behave like them. So, which sounds good, but it's leaving up to Facebook's.
It's leaving it up to Facebook and their algorithm to decide
Uh-huh.
who. So you are taken out of that mix.
Yeah.
So they're saying we're the best at figuring out your audience, not
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah. And having done this the last time, so in April this year, I did it and it didn't work for shit. Not for shit. And not only did it not work, but they let the ad run. When you go to do a Facebook ad, you set it to go, and then it goes into review, and then they approve it. And usually that turnaround is a few hours. And this time they approved it, and then a couple days later, they said they rejected the ad because it was I forget the actual terminology, but it was something. It was deceptive practices or some weird out of terms of service violation, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, what? So I appealed it. They approved it again, and then 3 days later they rejected it again. And so I'm like, okay, well, let me just start another ad because maybe there's something wrong. So I did. Same exact thing happened. I did that exact go round 3 times, and I just gave up. I gave up because honestly, most of our donations come from our email list, and it's sad. uh, uh, I'm not saying for me per se, I know what to do if it doesn't work, but for a small business owner that's running Facebook ads and they aren't doing it for a job. They're not an agency running ads for a client.
They're not making money off the performance of the ad. They're actually just
They're
making money
trying to
off of
just,
someone buying their product or service.
yes, that's right. They're trying to reach their goal. So it's a unfortunate situation. And I started an ad yesterday, and it was approved right away. So we'll tune in next week, and I'll let you guys know how it's going. In the
As
meantime,
the platforms change, it's helpful to be aware of it. If
yeah.
you do something and you don't get the results, don't be afraid to try something else. Try somewhere else. We talk about social selling, and a lot of times the go-to, as soon as you say the word social, Facebook, is the first thing most people think of. But that may not be the best performing platform for any particular individual.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about working with sales managers and saying, hey, let's, invite your team into social selling on the dealership's behalf. Let's expose the dealership and our products to a greater audience. And an easy way to do that without a budget, really, without additional effort, without a marketing team, simply just poll your employees. What's your favorite social media? Oh, I really like Instagram. Fantastic. How many pictures of something cool at the dealership do you post? Oh yeah, no, I haven't really thought about it. And I've heard, well, I don't like to mix my personal and professional life.
Yes,
Well, then you're in the wrong business.
that's
You're
a
in the
big,
wrong business. If you're in sales, that is your personal
yeah.
life because your bills depend on you selling a product. So I'm not saying switch your whole Instagram format to nothing but cars or trucks or pictures of the dealership, but there's no reason you shouldn't be sharing with people that do follow you on Instagram what you do, so that when they need something, they know who to come to. It's but everybody has a platform that they like. Some people still like Twitter. Some people are jumping all over the new threads. Wherever it is, capitalize on that enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just keep promoting it.
Yeah.
I was asked, I was sharing with you earlier, 2 years ago at NADA, if you were to scrap everything, get back into the industry right now, where would you focus your effort? And I said Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And the interviewer was like, really? And I said, yeah, but that's me. I'm not saying that somebody else should do that. If somebody else isn't already on Instagram and familiar with it and comfortable with it and likes that app, no, I'm not saying start an Instagram page and rely on that to sell all your cars and earn your income, because it won't work. I'm already on Instagram. I'm a very visual person. I like pictures. So I could build an Instagram page that would be profitable for me selling cars. Not everyone can. Some people are on Facebook. They like Facebook. Then focus your efforts there. Focus your efforts on Twitter. Whatever it is, if you want to get into TikTok, if you're already on TikTok and you're doing videos and you're comfortable with that format, why not? Throw some videos at the dealership. Find some fun things that you could share. Like we talked about the service advisor. You don't think that would be a video that people would watch if you showed like a cabin air filter, especially? This is
Yeah.
what filters the air coming into your vehicles, folks. It's gross. Here's a clean one. These are the reasons we recommend having these things looked at. If you don't know where the cabin air filter is on your vehicle, reach out to me in the comments. I'll be happy to help you find out where it's at. And if you work at a Ford dealership and somebody types in, hey, do I have one of those in my Honda Civic? And you answer that question and you help that person, you're establishing yourself as an authority. Then you tell them, hey, you don't have to just go to the Honda dealership. You can bring it over here. Our quick cleaning services all makes models, whatever platform is all I'm saying you're on and you're comfortable with, that's how you could be successful.
Yeah. 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 Comfort, you have to be comfortable on the platform. Some people use LinkedIn. That's more professional, quote unquote. But yeah, you have to be comfortable. And I wish that as someone that's hired a lot of salespeople and a lot of people in general, I just know that there are HR people out there. I know a few that they will actually, when they're going to hire someone, they will ask them to create a video for like a resume kind of. They have to give them the resume, but also a video, like an introduction video kind of thing. And then if you're faced as a person that's hiring, the difference between a person like that's got all of that and a person that doesn't, I would want to have someone that has a following, that is an influencer in their own network, because I don't want to say free. It's free. It doesn't require financial investment, but you're hiring an influencer. Why not tap into it?
And there's a value there on the other side. That person may be worth more as an income earner than someone without that type of network. Because, if you were going into other fields, if you were talking about real estate or an attorney or so, that person's book of business represents a value in addition to the person.
Yeah.
Companies too. If I'm going to buy a company and they're an established company with a strong book of business, that book of business could be more valuable than the company itself.
Yeah.
We know of some major players in automotive that like to buy third-party companies that provide a service simply because they have a strong book of business, and they buy that product, they put it on the shelf, but then they start marketing to that company's book of business, and that product ends up getting sunsetted, and you're like, oh, what happened to this component? Well, these guys bought it, so it's gone now. But that book of business is what a salesperson can survive on. It took me years to build a book of business as a salesperson, working on the line, just doing it customer by customer with handwritten thank you notes, birthday cards, all the things that built up my repeat business. Today, that 3 years could be 3 months. Really effectively using technology, you could build your book of business quickly. And then if you're not happy with the store you're working at, you walk into another agency and you say, this is what I've got. This is my following. This is the influence that I have online. It's not about being an influencer, quote unquote, like, in the cheesy terms that you see online, these people that have dedicated their lives to become an influencer or a car bro. But there is a value to your book of business that you bring to the table.
Yeah. And using a medium to connect with them, that's basically free, your time investment, but it basically is a opportunity. And yeah, everybody has a book of business. Every person that meets, there's a book of business behind them, and there's lots of opportunity and lots of chances to utilize it to make more money. Yeah. So anyway, but I think we'll see what happens regarding, this fundraiser, but more in general, just, Facebook is still there. It's still the place where we get the most engagement, we, the horse rescue, and a lot of other people get have the same reaction from Facebook. So don't let people tell you that Facebook isn't a place where people should be, because it's still the big place and it's possible to do. So
Definitely, whatever platform you're on, there's a lot of activity still going on Twitter. The consensus is it's kind of a joke now and it's crumbling, but there's still a lot of engagement, a lot of interaction. So if you're wherever you're at, chances are there's going to be other people like you there. That's what you need to focus on.
yeah, Twitter is definitely broken. It's not ever going to be what it was, and people are leaving, and it's clear. There's way more hate. There's way more bots. I just look at the comments on tweets from people, and it's appalling, honestly. But there's still an opportunity to share valuable information that's going to help people you want to reach, your audience, people you're connected to. There's still that opportunity to share more, share what you know about, and help people. And that's really what social's about, is just sharing good content.
Building your audience, and before you can build an audience, you need to establish what it is you want as an audience. Are you trying? We've talked before. Are you trying to simply become a celebrity in the industry amongst other industry people? In other words, are you just trying to get other dealer people to recognize you and acknowledge you and celebrate you?
Don't get me started on this.
Or are you trying to build a customer base of people that want to be educated and informed by you, so that they can make a decision on where and when to do business?
Yeah. You guys can't see this, but Mike's smiling because he knows that it makes me insane what I see going on with these car bros that are here. Okay, let me just say that if you're on social and you want to do whatever you're selling, whatever you're doing, it doesn't even have to be a salesperson, but if you're on social, just connecting with one person is super important. It's not about building like 1 million followers and having likes so that you can feel better about it. It's connecting to one person. A small audience actually is better, because they're going to be more connected to you, and you're going to be able to focus, because it's clear that these car bro dudes are not focusing on I don't know, you don't, there's not enough time in the day to focus on a large audience like that and deliver something that is meaningful, right? You're not, fucking, Succession or 90 Day Fiance. Okay, people tune into that, but you're not that. Okay, you're trying to build an audience or a group of people that think like you, and if it's small, great. It's not about the likes. It's not about making it all about you. These videos just turn my stomach, and I could go on about it, but I won't. Anyway, that's enough.
Let's cleanse it up a little bit. Let's move in a different direction. So this week, we had a passing of someone that had a huge influence on so many different reasons. But one of the reasons I wanted to bring him up today is just because he had an interesting influence on someone we've talked about in the past. This week we lost Paul Reubens, who gained worldwide fame with his character Pee Wee Herman, in addition to many other things. But far and away, Pee Wee Herman is the most recognizable thing Paul was associated with. Early on in the creation of the character, once they had the script and the movie ideas and they were moving forward, Paul Reubens and Tim Burton approached Danny Elfman, who we know from Oingo Boingo, and asked him to score the movie. And that was just the first time he'd gotten outside of pop music as a medium. He had been leading Oingo Boingo for many years. They're a SoCal band. They gained some recognition outside of SoCal, but here in SoCal, they were a monster band.
Well, they were weren't they in movies? They were, right? I mean, I only really remember because it's all about me. I only remember like they were local, but weren't they were in like what movie? Like a few
Well,
of them. Weird
they
Science, right?
they contributed songs to movies, but Danny Elfman hadn't scored a movie,
Oh,
and
score a
that's the
movie. Yeah, yeah,
difference.
yeah, yeah,
To write songs for movies, word science as one is different than writing the entire music for the entire movie.
yeah,
Understanding the scene, the emotion, all of that. And early on, I just remember from being a fan of both of them. I think Danny Elfman expressed a lot of concern, of all the intricacies that go into a movie. How do you convey this emotion that you're trying to present in this scene? If you've ever seen like screens movies without the music, it's totally different. The music can make a scene or break a scene, and he wasn't sure he would be able to pull it off. And he scored Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which led into over 100 other movies.
hmm
Beetlejuice, and then of course the one that really launched his career in scoring movies into the stratosphere was the first Batman movie, which he won, what was, an Oscar, an Emmy, a Grammy, some shit, one of those kind of awards for. But he did. That was a stepping stone for him. So that was kind of the connection with Paul Reubens. That's what I always think about, was he helped launch an entire career for Danny Elfman.
yeah. I just know that Paul Rubens must have been a very nice, good guy because a lot of people that I follow, Kathy Griffin for one, but many others, Allison Martino from Vintage Los Angeles, but many famous people and they've all just kept saying, oh my gosh, what a nice guy he was. And they said he would send people on their birthday, he would send them like birthday memes and GIFs and stuff. And
Yeah, like multiple times through the day. It wasn't just like one, like an acknowledgement. He
yeah,
would he would send different ones.
yeah,
Everybody's their Twitter is just, and I've been really careful about curating my list of people I follow on Twitter. So I tend to see, like-minded people, but that's just all I've been seeing for 2 days. It's just memories.
yeah. I guess he had cancer for 6 years and he didn't say anything to anyone, even his friends didn't say. It's unfortunate, but I guess that's how he chose to do things.
But from something, childlike and playful, Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure sprang a career of some incredible music for a lot of movies
Mm-hmm.
for Danny Elfman.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Danny's going to be playing at the Hollywood Bowl here in Southern California on Saturday, and he's going to be going through his entire catalog. He's going to have a full orchestra, starting with the kind of punk-ish early Boingo stuff,
Really,
into,
with an orchestra.
well, I'm sure it'll be the band, or a band, and then
Is
he'll
it Oingo
progress
Boingo or
into.
is it Danny by himself?
No, it's going to be Danny Elfman. So he'll be playing songs of Oingo Boingo, because the members of Oingo Boingo have a band called the Members of Oingo Boingo.
Oh, okay. Oh, didn't know that. All
I
right.
haven't looked into it deep enough to understand the riff, but there's definitely a separation there.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Well.
Interesting.
Mhm.
What else is going on?
Gosh. I can say that the Righteous Gemstones on HBO just finished the third season, and I'm telling you, if you want to laugh hard, it's Danny McBride, and it's so funny. So I can recommend the Righteous Gemstones. Also, there's the Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix.
I
Um,
like that series.
yeah, so they released on July, like the early part of July, they released 5 episodes of the season. And then today they're releasing the balance, the other 5 episodes. I don't
The whole
like
new season.
that. The whole reason I liked Netflix or anything was because I could watch it when I wanted to. This whole business of making people wait again, they're trying to like force it on us, and nobody fucking wants it. I don't want to wait. I just want it all so I can watch it, because for the same reason that's always been, because I have time now and I don't want to think about having later, because there's a good chance I won't be able to catch up on it later.
I'm finding that same concern with the podcasts that I've recently delved into. Now that I'm a kind of a fan, I binged all the 7 episodes of Just Jack and Will. Love it, love,
Up to
awesome.
date, because
But now I got to wait for
A
the next
week,
one to come out.
because they do
And
it weekly.
who
Yeah.
knows if I'm going to remember, and it'll probably be 3 weeks, and I'm like, oh, then I gotta.
Well, I can tell you the
I wish
difference.
there was a big back catalog. I wish they'd have been already like doing it for 3 years, so then I could just not run out of episodes to binge on.
Yeah. Well, as a longtime podcast listener, I don't mind that because it comes into my feed and it tells me that it's there.
Oh, okay.
The Netflix and the other streaming services are starting to not do that. Like you go to look for, like, if you watch something and then you like didn't watch the rest of it or something, and it doesn't, like, sometimes it forgets to bring it back to you. I don't know what they're doing. I know they're messing with their quote unquote algorithm, but but podcast is easy. Your podcast app is just going to one that it, and I have enough of them that I can certainly, I don't mind waiting a week for the next one. I have enough podcasts that I listen to so that it takes up more than enough of my time. So maybe that's where you need to go, is just add a few more podcasts. And then
Maybe it is.
yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, you're already watching Smartless, right? I mean,
I did listen to a couple of smart lists. I like the format. I like Sean Hayes no matter what he does. Jason Bateman.
yeah, those guys kill me. And
They
you
got
go
a great
watch
chemistry.
the Smartless on HBO, the documentary. It's, I think, a 6-part documentary. They
Oh,
shot it all in black and white, and it's them just doing Smartless live. Last year they did Smartless. I don't even know if it was last year. I think it was this year, actually, earlier this year. They just went to,
yeah,
like,
they took it on tour.
yeah,
I cut a
Smartless
couple
on tour.
episodes
That's
from
what it's called.
Brooklyn. They
Yep.
did an episode with AOC. Yeah.
Yeah, you should watch that. It's really, really good. And
Maybe I will.
they are, it's nice to me, for me, one of the many things, but they have such a great friendship, and the documentary series lets you see, like, you don't see men with good solid friendship relationships. You don't see a lot of that, and these guys are just, they're the best.
Their
And
banter is great.
yeah, they're great. So
All right, folks. Thank you for hanging in with us for another episode of The First Pencil. Appreciate it. We really, really, really look forward to hearing some feedback, getting some questions, helping you with what you're doing, whether you're having some challenges, whether you're seeing some successes. Obviously, we want to promote those successes and celebrate them with you. If you're having some challenges, we want to help you overcome them and get better at what you're doing. So reach out to us.
yes, and sign up for my newsletter.
Definitely.
For those same reasons.
A lot of great stuff on there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, up to date stuff. It's weekly and it's free. All right. So I guess we're gonna sign off. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, sounds good. All right. Well, we will see you next week. And I'm really crossing my fingers that the humidity will have subsided by then, but I won't count on it.
We'll update you.
I hope wherever you are, it is cool. If it's not cool outside, I hope it's cool inside. And we'll see you next week. Bye for
Say
now.
hi to those horses for us, Kathy.
Uh-huh. Bye for now.